race. Teach us and escort and make us twitch. You're the only one that can scratch our itch. So Gordon, Gordon, put us in stitches. There ain't no one like you in this place. Melmac is nothing but worse than that. Melmac is really no place for cats. But Gordon, you got an angle on things. You're the only one here who sings and swings. Gordon, stand us in behind me. 'Cause there ain't no one like you in the Melmacian race. Teach us and escort and make us twitch. You're the only one that can scratch our itch. Gordon, Gordon, put us in stitches. There ain't no one like you in this place. Hey Gordon, come on, make us dance.
No more tabby paw pie for me before bedtime.
Hello and welcome to the 70th episode of ToonCast, brought to you by the GeekCast Radio Network. I'm your host, TFG and Mike, and today I'm joined once again by Kevin Optimus Solo Thompson. Hello, sir.
Hello.
Yes, and today we are going to be talking about that animated version of the classic 80s character, ALF.
Good old Alf.
Now, a little bit of housekeeping, I guess, what we could say here. Episode 70 originally was supposed to be Johnny Quest. And while I remember watching Johnny Quest because my mom loved that cartoon, the guest host that I was going to have on here just couldn't make it. So Johnny Quest will end up 65 years in the future. So, yeah, I'm still using that running joke. Even though it's already been announced, I mean, pretty much, but I'm not actually going to announce it on the show until a later episode. What's been going on with you, Mr. Commenter?
Well, basically, I have been not only without a computer, but without internet for about 7 to 10 previous days before this record. So I've been basically off the grid. So I'm just now getting reacquainted with my old. I got to give my computer a name or something. My old regular computer. First time I've had her back since about a year ago. So I'm getting back in the swing of things. But other than that, I've spent about 15 hours outside doing work while I was internetless. But I think what you were referring to is right before I lost contact with the world, I did go on a podcasting listening spree, and I listened to about, 9 or 10 different podcasts from GeekCast Radio, and I commented on a whole bunch of them, and it's good stuff. I was listening to episodes from not only the current releases, but I was listening to episodes from a year ago.
Yeah. Let's see, what's going on with me? Well, I'm trying to be financially responsible, and in order for me to do that, it means... Shut up. In order for me to do that, that means I have to sell stuff.
Ooh.
So... Without going too far into detail with it, a buddy of mine who is back co-hosting with us on ToyCast, Optimus Scourge, partial cash, partial trade deal. I sold him my Shatterglass Rodimus, which was one of my number one favorite characters, number one favorite toys. But as I said, I'm trying to be financially responsible and get myself out of the rut that I'm in financially.
I have a friend that's doing the exact same thing, and he invited me over to his house to look through his old toys to see if there's anything I wanted to buy. I was like, that's a dangerous idea.
I have actually, outside of being, financially responsible, I've also been financially irresponsible.
There we go. That goes hand in hand.
Well, I'm on this kick now of getting... I'll always be a Transformers toy collector, but I have other interests, and one of those other interests is the Masters of the Universe Classics line.
They're very cool.
So I've been buying those from Big Bad Toy Store. I will only buy them through BigBadToyStore.com. I will never get them through, even try to get them through Matty Collector, because that's a nightmare. Not going to get into that. What else am I doing? Actually, as of this recording, I just got home like a half hour ago I went to Target and I picked up The Big Bang Theory, the complete third season on DVD. So this episode 70 has kind of been plagued because we've had like a week and a half or 2 weeks delay, and we've also I almost completely forgot that we were recording this tonight.
Dope.
Shut up. Because Kevin sent me a message on Skype, and I'm like, "Ooh, who's?" Because I didn't see it was you at first. I'm like, "Oh, great, who's messaging me now?" And I was getting ready to put disc 1 of the complete third season of Big Bang Theory into watch, and I'm like, "Oh, oops, holy shit, we have to record."
Delay.
Yes, delay.
So now the delayed show is delaying your watching of another show.
I can watch that anytime, but yeah. Have you ever seen that show?
I don't think I have actually.
Dude, you got to get into it. Oh
There's
man,
so many shows I haven't ever seen as far as live action shows.
I understand that, but this show is amazing. It's a comedy show from the guy that did Dharma and Greg, Chuck Lorre.
Okay.
It stars Johnny Galecki, who was Rusty in Christmas Vacation. Jim Parsons, Kaylee Cuoco, and a bunch of other people. It's pretty much a whole Roseanne cast, honestly.
Yeah.
The old Roseanne. It's pretty much anyone from the old Roseanne show shows up in the show. It's about these roommates and these friends who are like uber geeks and they're physicists, and it's just a hilarious comedy.
Gotcha.
Oh man, it's the best thing ever.
I don't know why this just popped into my head, but since we covered it on the show, this is going to be completely random here, but we did cover a bunch of Christmas stuff last year, and I don't know if you saw the news about the voice of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer passing the other day. Billy Richards was her name.
Oh,
and she was the voice of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer in the holiday classic one that we all know
and love.
Yeah, and she passed away, I think, 2 days ago, or 2 or 3 days ago.
Oh, that's very sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it comes to Christmas time, even after this show is over, every December, every week, at least once a week, I'm going to go back to episode 30 and just say, here, Christmas episode, Christmas episode, Christmas episode, go listen.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So yeah, that's what's been going on with me. Other than that, not much else really. So I guess we can get right into the history lesson.
All right. ALF, the animated series, also sometimes known as ALF on Melmac, was an animated cartoon spin-off, obviously based on the live-action sitcom series ALF. The animated series premiered on Saturday mornings on NBC on September 26, 1987, and ran for 26 episodes until September of 1989. For the second season of the show, it was expanded from a half-hour format to a 60-minute format, and there was an additional component titled ALF Tales that played during the second half hour. ALF Tales then became its own half-hour series in 1989, but it was basically all just rerun episodes of what aired in the hour format. And there was 21 episodes of ALF Tales, so 26 of the animated series, 21 of ALF Tales. Both series were part of TV's Family Channel lineup in reruns from 1990 to 1998. So what do you remember about either ALF or ALF Tales?
I love it. I love this cartoon.
I love the voice. I mean, I know that's kind of getting ahead, but I just love Alf as a character and the voice that does him. Obviously, it's the same voice in all incarnations of this. Who's also the writer of the show.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's my kind of humor. I just like it, and it's not over the top, but I don't know. It's like they somehow managed to do. Not necessarily pro-social, like PSA type episodes all the time, but they managed to do that type of stuff without making it seem cheesy and all that, because Alf just has kind of a cool, more adult sense of humor.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can. I think episode 18 of Geekcast Radio is going to have to be dedicated to Alf, the actual show, because to coincide with this release, or to come after this release, because I don't think we can talk about this cartoon without talking about the live-action show.
Right.
Because obviously that's where this spawned from. I think the main thing I remember from this is the sports episodes.
Okay.
Because I remember there was, and I don't know because I'm not down to that part of the script yet, but I remember having an ALF bully a baseball card. I don't... I remember I had all kinds of ALF stuff.
I never had any ALF stuff, but I remember obviously watching the live action show specifically, and I do remember watching both the animated show and ALF Tales. It wasn't something that I watched, all the time, but it was definitely something that I watched occasionally on a Saturday. Usually my Saturdays were, Garfield and, depending on what I think I'm getting the right years about, and that type of stuff. But I do remember flipping to this every once in a while. And definitely fond memories of it. It wasn't, like I said, it wasn't something that I, had the time frame down and was waiting, anxiously for that time slot so I could watch it. But I enjoyed it when I did watch it.
Right. The thing with the ALF show, both the live action version, which came first, obviously, and then the animated show, ALF was one of those 80s phenomenons that, I mean...
It's hard to explain why it was successful.
Well, because it was a funny show.
Yeah, it did good on something that was completely out of this world.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's the point. The animated series was a way for them to show his adventures on Melmac, because the live-action show, if I remember correctly, a couple of episodes he had a chance to return to Melmac, but he didn't. I don't remember them ever going to Melmac on the live-action show. So the animated series was a chance. It's almost I hate to use this word. Only reason why I really am using it because George Lucas. ALF the animated series technically could be considered a prequel.
Yeah,
a good
definitely.
Prequel.
Yeah, and the weird thing is, because we have to talk about it, this is one of those, take a live-action success and try to make a cartoon out of it. And the reason I bring that up, though, is because most of the time you were taking something that was never had the content that would fit a cartoon. Like you were taking, let's say, like the Brady Bunch or something, or the, something like that, and trying to make a cartoon out of it. And it just really didn't work because it was the content was just too specific for live action. This is perfect material to make a cartoon out of.
Right.
You have an alien figure. You have an alien that was, part of this other world. What better thing to make an animated form of in a cartoon version? So I think for once it was actually the live action was still better, but for once it was something that didn't seem out of place as a cartoon. I guess in my opinion.
Oh no, and I agree. Because if you look at stuff today that, oh man, I don't want to go down this hole, but I have to. If you look at stuff today that live action has been made out of from stuff that was really great 26 years ago, the live action version just doesn't transfer very well.
Yeah, it works both ways. If it was a cartoon first, it doesn't usually go well into a live-action format, and usually the live-action stuff doesn't work well as a cartoon.
But this does.
This is one of those that does, and the 70s and the 80s were really big on doing that, and I'm glad this one kind of worked a little bit better than some of the other ones. There's certain content that just makes it work. That's why Ghostbusters, I think, worked as a cartoon. This one worked as a cartoon. Maybe like a Addams Family or that type of stuff because it's kind of the horror, that type of stuff. But a lot of live action stuff just doesn't work as a cartoon. Yep.
Very, very true. So I guess getting into the characters here, a lot of them I don't even remember a lot of these. Outside of Alf himself, Gordon Shumway, I really don't
Basically, you have Alf, his family, and his friends, and then a couple enemies.
Yeah,
is what because you have Alf, you have his father, his brother, his sister, his mom, let's see, couple friends, his girlfriend. So I mean, that's the main core.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. I don't remember the specifics about each individual character. Obviously, we all remember Alf, but other than that, basically, and that's another thing that was probably kind of weird about this is it's a cartoon based on a live-action show that only basically has one character from that show.
Yeah, we never did see animated versions of that's the Tanners.
The Tanners.
Wright was Maxwell Wright's last name. Jesus Christ.
And we're not talking about the Full House Tanners.
Yeah, no, I think everybody knows that we're not talking about the Full House Tanners.
I just had to throw that out there. But it's just interesting. You have a cartoon completely based on a show, and it only takes one character. And, I find that kind of unique to this.
And I think the reason why, yes, you need all these other supporting characters like Rhonda. I remember that from the show. And I think Rhonda and Skip were the two that I remember from the show because those were the two that showed up in the show when they were going to take him back to Melmac. Honestly, Alf is a comedian. He's a comedy. He's a comedy character. It's not like let's see, it's not like Sonic from the original Sonic the Hedgehog series where it's a really dark thing. Yeah. And there was comedy in that with Sonic because obviously, hello, it's Urkel. But this, because Alf is such a comic character as far as comedian, that's all you really need. Because and
he's not a comedian like a kid, like a comedian for a kid, like make kids laugh type of comedian. He's like a stand-up comedian. Mm-hmm. He's like a Rodney Dangerfield or something like that in an animated form. It seems like. But just to get the names out of the way of his family, his dad is Bob Shumway, his mom is Flo, so you have Bob and Flo. His sister's Augie, his brother's Curtis. So that's the Shumway family. And then, of course, his name is Gordon. And interesting to note that on this show, he is only referred to as Gordon Shumway. They never will call him Alf during the show.
Right.
So you have a cartoon version of a live-action show with one character only as a crossover that is never called the same thing as he was in the other show.
Well, but see, the other thing is, it's not like that we don't know what his real name is, because in the live-action, in the original show, he said what his name was. So it's not like that they just brought...
No.
Exactly. They are taking... They are crossing the continuity. They're just giving it a little bit more backstory, and that's why I said this could technically be a prequel to...
Yeah.
The live-action show.
Alf's character, I actually looked this up. Alf's character on the live-action show was supposedly 229 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Alf's character in the cartoon is approximately 193. So he's about 36 years or so younger, supposedly, on the cartoon version. He's supposed to have just been at out of high school-ish age.
Right.
On the cartoon compared to, more of an adult on the live action show.
Right.
And then you have, let's see, I like the name of the main villain, Larson Petty. Not Petty Larson. And then you have, like you said, his friends were Skip, and the other main friend was Sloop. Those are the main ones that I think...
Right, yeah.
Worth mentioning.
Overall, just the characters, and it's one of those things where what I remember about the show is Gordon himself, and like I said, Rhonda and Skip and the parents. I don't remember any of these other characters.
Right.
Which kind of stinks, but nah.
Yeah, Rhonda's, if we didn't mention, is Gordon's girlfriend. I think we said that.
Yeah, we did.
The voice cast is very interesting in this one.
Yeah, it is.
Mainly because apparently whoever was in charge of casting this was also in charge of casting a voice cast for the animated Cops show. Which is, I don't know how bizarre this is that we're, having this one, and then we'll have, Cops here in the future, but Paulina Gillis, Len Carlson, Dan Hennessy, and then additional
Dick Wilson.
voices. John Stocker, Nick Nichols are also all from Cops.
Yep.
So that's very, very interesting to me. The most notable names on here, I think, in my opinion, are Len Carlson and Dan Hennessy. Dan Hennessy did Chief Quimby and Braveheart Lion, and Len Carlson was Professor Coldheart, Green Goblin in 1967 Spider-Man, Ganon from The Legend of Zelda, and Len Carlson was also the voice of the Jolly Green Giant in the Jolly Green Giant commercials. Mm-hmm. So those are the main ones. I mean, a lot of these, if they weren't on Cops, they probably were in nothing else. The only other thing I could find about Thick Wilson, who is Gordon's father, was that he was in the movie The Dark Crystal as one of the creatures. But Gordon's mother and Alf himself, Paul Fusco, or however you say it, they have basically done nothing else outside of this. I mean, Paul Fusco did all Alf stuff.
Yeah.
The live action, this one, Alf Tales, everything. But, that's basically all he did.
Right.
As far as voice acting goes.
Oh, holy crap.
Uh-oh.
That's interesting.
We got a holy crap.
Yep. I guess, so are we done with the voice actors?
Yeah, I'm good with them.
Okay. So I guess we can move into the behind the scenes here. And it's pretty much just a list of the episodes. What I said holy crap about was a series directed by Richard Reynes and Dan Reba. Dan Reba I know from Batman Beyond and Justice League.
Okay. I didn't recognize any of these guys' names, so I'm glad you did.
Dwayne Capizzi, or Capizzi, or however you say his name, I think it's Capizzi. He has done, he did the Batman, the 2004 The Batman cartoon.
Okay.
And he's done several other things with animated stuff, as far as DC animated stuff. So I recognize them. The rest of them I don't recognize at all.
Yeah. And Paul Fusco obviously was also a writer and the creator, along with Tom Patchett. And this was, I don't think I said this in the history lesson, but this whole thing is a Deke and Saban, or however you want to say it, production. In your episode that you were thinking about, I think I found it actually. Pride of the Shumways. Gordon is a star player for the Orbit Guard Bula baseball team.
Bula baseball team, yep. Yep,
but a blow to the head renders him amnesiac and puts him out of the game and his little brother Curtis in.
Yeah, I remember that episode now. Because the Bula baseball thing was so funny because they used fish for bats.
Ah.
I
wish there was more episodes of this available because I would like to watch it again.
Yeah.
For those of you trying to find it online, you're not going to find anything online. There's basically no episodes of Alf or Alf Tales available on most sites that I would use to watch a video. So,
yep.
You're restricted to a few episodes that we'll talk about later that you can get in another way.
Yes. Getting into the actual show. The show, as we've pretty much already said, is pretty much a prequel depicting Alf's life back on his home planet of Melmac. Since the name Alf was an acronym short for alien life form and only given to Gordon Shumway later on Earth, Alf is never used in the animated series except for its title. Alf would always be referred to as Gordon, his true name, or Gordo by his friends Rick and Skip. Nearly every episode, a live-action Alf would appear at the introduction and conclusion of the episode, reading fan mail and saying that his show is a response to a huge demand of people wanting to know what his life was like on Melmac. Well, see, I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
And this is why we need more Alf on DVD as far as this cartoon, because I would like to see that again, because I completely forgot that the Alf live-action character was even in the show.
Yeah.
Much of the humor arises from the characters taking part in surrealistic activities while treating them as ordinary and unremarkable. For example, in order to prove their manhood and win their distinguished antlers, the sons of members of the Mayonnaise Lodge, formed of men who work in the mayonnaise mines. See, Melmac's weird. Must wrestle a clam and make it sing. Other episodes had issues somewhat similar to Earth issues, such as when Gordon's parents take part in a free vacation while failing to realize it is a timeshare scam. The scam artist literally steals the Shumway residence and transplants it to the timeshare plots. then uses brainwashing machines to convince Flo and Bob to buy a house they already own. Oh, yeah, this series so needs to be on DVD.
Yeah.
Another one, which was a play on the original TV series, was a TV show which Alf and his family loved about the Earthling who crash landed on Melmac. Oh, God. Where a human was shown saying, "Oh, my homeworld, we keep cats as house pets. On my homeworld, we keep cats as house pets." And a Melmacian telling them, "Well, here, we eat them." Gordon, from the series, is one of the cartoon characters featured in Cartoon All-Stars to the rescue. Very cool. And then Alf Tales. Alf and Friends star in irreverent versions of classic children's fairy tales, Robin Hood, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Jack and the Beanstalk, amongst others. I wonder, did they... I'll have to look down here. I don't think they did. No, they didn't. Damn it. I was going to say it would be an improvement on episode 29 of ToonCast, which is that Disney movie that shall not be named, if they did a version of that.
Unless it's one of the ones that's just not on the DVD, I guess. I don't know.
Well,
I haven't seen the titles of all the episodes. There's 21 episodes, and we have 7 of the titles here.
Yeah. I wonder if they did do, like, Snow Elf and the Wicked Queen or something.
We can only hope.
Getting into the music segment, I guess. Because I haven't done my research yet on the theme song. I don't remember the theme song.
The theme song is actually really good. I completely have forgotten about it until recently, until I was watching, obviously, this stuff. But I was actually surprised. It is actually pretty darn good.
Yeah, I'm going to have to...
It's better than the one for the one for Elf Tales is not good.
Well, I'll be using the one from the actual animated series, so...
Yeah, the actual animated series... theme song is much better than the Elf Tales one.
Right. And of course, the music was done by Hans Saban and Shuki Levy. Getting into the receptions, holy crap, it won a Daytime Emmy Award.
Apparently.
Outstanding Film Sound Editing. Oh. No, and Outstanding Film Sound Mixing. Well, I mean, it's good that it won an Emmy, but...
Oh, I have all the episodes now. I'll give you a rundown of the Elf Tales. You had King Midas, Robin Hood, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Aladdin Brothers, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin, Princess and the Pea, John Henry, Three Little Pigs, Alice in Wonderland, Peter Pan, Hansel and Gretel, Wizard of Oz, Elvis and the Shoemaker, or the Elves and the Shoemaker, The Emperor's New Clothes, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Little Red Riding Hood, and the last one, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Man, that needs to be on DVD so we can see a real version of that movie.
Yeah. So, I mean, they did a good job of covering a whole lot of stuff.
A whole lot of fairy tales, yeah. Getting into the legacy, well, the rest of the legacy segment here. Lionsgate Home Entertainment released the first 9 episodes of the series on DVD in Region 1 on May 30th, 2006 as ALF Animated Adventures, 20,000 Years in Driving School and Other Stories. No word yet on a complete DVD seasons for both seasons of the entire show. Alf Tales, Alf and the Beanstalk was released on May of 2006, contains 7 episodes of the Alf Tales series, which are Robin Hood, Sleeping Beauty, Cinderella, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Aladdin Brothers, and Rapunzel.
And there's basically been no news on either one of these series since 2006.
Which really sucks.
That's usually not a good sign.
Well, no, wait a minute. Isn't the 20... Yeah, next year is the 25th anniversary.
Well, maybe that's a good sign then. Let's see. Yeah. 87. No, not yet.
No, it ran from 86 to 9. Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the live action show.
Yeah, this one was 87, so we got a couple
So
years
2012 is the... Oh, God, no. 2012 is the 25th anniversary and the end of the world. Great.
So we won't get this, so don't be holding your breath for it. But if you've never been someone that watched ALF, if you've never been exposed to the character of ALF, you owe it to yourself to go get some version of either the animated series, the live action series, just so you can see this character. He's one of the most unique and, just awesome classic 80s characters.
Yep, I would totally agree. And we're going to go to some promos.
George ToonCast will be back after these messages. Do not be alarmed. This transmission is being jacked by the lunchroom. We are here to tell you that the lunchroom has been rebooted. It is now a part of the GeekCast radio network and is still available at thelunchroom.net. It debuts every Monday or Wednesday or whenever we see fit to give it to you. Any further information can be found at thelunchroom.net. We will now return you to your regular program.
Sword of Omens, give me sight beyond sight. I see a new episode of ToonCast coming this week.
Now back to ToonCast.
We are back, and before we go into final thoughts, just wanted to bring up a couple of things. I know it's kind of old news, but we haven't had a chance to talk about this on ToonCast, considering last episode Kevin had no interest in being on the show. But yeah, there's been news, and like I said, it's fairly old news at this point. But She-Ra, for the 25th anniversary, is getting re-released on DVD as a complete series coming in January, and I think next week they're going to start releasing the season sets. So I am so glad that I did not get the original sets. I just hope whatever special features were on the original sets get ported over to this one.
Yeah.
Because if not, I guess I'm going to have to go hunt down those volume sets.
Yeah, that'll be a pain.
Yeah, it will be. So I guess final thoughts on ALF, the animated series, and ALF Tales.
Just kind of like what I said before, I think this is kind of one of those unique things where for once I didn't actually dislike the fact that they were doing a port over from a live action to a cartoon. I think this is one of the types of things, since it's so much alien and sci-fi, whatever you want to call it, that it works as a cartoon. I don't know. I think it's worth watching. I don't know if I would be satisfied with just having the 9 episodes or the 7 episodes or whatever, or if I would want a whole season or a whole series type thing. But it's definitely worth watching. It's worth at least getting, just for those 7 or 9 episodes, if they don't ever release it in another form.
I'm gonna wait because I want to see.
Yeah.
I want to see if something happens with this franchise. Like I said before, next year is the 25th anniversary of the actual 86 live-action show, so I'm waiting to see if they re-release the season sets from the live-action show into a big box, because they've done it with almost every other 80s series. I mean, Full House has a giant house as a complete series set. The A-Team has the van. Knight Rider had that little box thing that flipped up. So, I mean, we are getting complete series, but as far as the cartoon, there's only 2 seasons, so you could technically put, 3 discs, 4 discs.
It's only 26 episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean,
that'd be 3 or 4 discs. You're good.
Yeah, so
yeah, it definitely should. There's no point in not doing it. I don't think, with all the other stuff that's out on DVD.
Oh, I know it.
But yeah, it's a good show. It's worth watching. It's worth watching at least a few episodes if you can get a hold of them. But unfortunately, the only way you can do that right now is DVD, because you're not going to find it on YouTube or any other online thing that I've found so far.
Yeah, which is kind of sad. So, thank you for joining us here on ToonCast. There's some ways to get in contact with us or leave feedback for the show. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com. Join the forums, productandempire.com/nexus. Leave the show's feedback in iTunes. Did we get any new iTunes stuff?
I checked it since I just got the computer going.
It was more of a question for myself than it was a question for you. Let me check this really quick. ToonCast,
we have been getting lots of comments on the forums, so make sure that I'm not the only one commenting there.
Well, it's not really the forum. It's more.
Or not the forums. I'm sorry. At the geekcastradio.com. Go to the individual episode titles and you can leave us feedback there too.
No, we don't have any new reviews in iTunes. Leave us iTunes reviews, you people. You people out there listening, leave us iTunes reviews. And if you're in another country outside the U.S. and you left us an iTunes review, be sure to screen cap it or copy and paste it into an email and send it to me, tfg1mike@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter. The show name there is GCRN ToonCast. Mine is TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter?
Boss K-Dog.
Become a fan on Facebook. Search Geekcast Radio Network. This is the first time I've had a chance to announce this on this show. We are currently running a Facebook fan page or like page or whatever the hell Facebook is calling it now, contest where you could win a signed copy of Stan Bush's new album. If we get to 200 fans, we will give a signed CD and a t-shirt away. If we get to 300, we'll give a second set away. All you have to do is like us on Facebook.
Yeah, they're trying to catch us at BehindTheVoiceActors.com, so
Shut
help them out. Help them out. We need one more. We're at $4.99.
Well, we're not trying to get to 500. We're just trying to get to 300. So
I know.
call the voicemail line and tell us the show you're leaving the message for and your name. The number is 502-526-5821. We hope you enjoyed this episode of ToonCast and wish you'll join us next time when we will be reminiscing on the pre-recorded Mighty Mouse. Oh, Christ. Kill me now. For now, I am TFG1 Mike with
Optimus Solo from BehindTheVoiceActors.com.
Thank you for listening. Until next time.
Mr. Crowfoot never hangs around when he hears this mighty sound. Here I come to save the day. That means that Mighty Mouse is on the way. Yes, sir, when there is a wrong to right, Mighty Mouse will join the fight. On the sea or on the land, he gets the situation well.